You're watching the Dakota Drive on KFYR Plus with sports director Luke Gamble. Sponsored by Trusted Tire and Auto.
Drive. Good Monday afternoon here on the Dakota Drive, 2 o'clock, coming to you every Monday from 2 to 3 right here on KFYR Plus, and I am so excited about today's show. We've got a good lineup across the board. We're going to have 3 guests on today's show, at least that's the plan, and we're going to get started right away with some football talk. I mean, we're coming down here to the wire. Hard to believe this is the last week of the regular season for Class A and 9-man teams here in North Dakota high school football. And there was a couple of region championships decided this past weekend in 9-man football. Region 3, Region 4, a couple of big games between ranked teams, you know, a ranked team and a team receiving votes in the polls. So lots of good stuff happening in high school football. And then AAA and AA teams, you had Bismarck get a really big win over Legacy. Now Legacy has to turn around and play Century this week. Lots at stake there in terms of the playoffs and that kind of thing. But we're going to go ahead and jump right into things as we get ready to bring our first guest on here in the next minute or two. Our first guest is going to be Trey Jacobson, the head coach from Alexander. And Alexander has gotten off to they've had a great season. I mean, they're one of the, I think it's down to maybe 5 undefeated teams still left here in 9-man football. And the Comets got a big win on Friday night. The Comets going and taking on Divide County, another undefeated team, getting a win against Divide County in a big region matchup that certainly had huge implications in terms of seeding and playoff implications, like we were just talking about there with how many games, you know, we're deciding who's going to get home playoff games, who's going to get top seeds out of the region and things of that nature. Alexander 8-0 on the season. They won that game over Divide County 40-20. That was a game that I know a lot of people had eyes on this past Friday night, and that was a big win for the Comets. So we're going to get ready to bring in Trey Jacobson here, if I can get our computer to cooperate with me. The Comets, no strangers to success. Had a great season last year as well with a playoff run. But Trey, whenever you talk about what you guys have been able to do this year, going 8-0, and obviously this one this past Friday has probably been circled on the calendar for a while. You get a win on Friday, 40-20. Kind of tell me what the mood was like after that one on Friday night.
The guys were pretty pumped up. We kind of had that one in the crosshairs for quite a while now. Couldn't be prouder of the guys. I mean, they came out ready to play on a senior night here in Alexander, and it was a fun atmosphere.
Yeah, Divide County, obviously a team that is known for being really good in football and has had a long history themselves. What was kind of the message going into that one? Knowing so much was at stake, you know, 4 versus 5, both undefeated teams. You got a region title, you know, hanging in the balance. How did you guys approach going into the game last week, knowing just how much was at stake, while also maybe trying not to put too much pressure on your guys?
Well, that's just it. You can't get too overhyped, or else you're going to be out of control, right? It was just, you gotta have to have the same mindset going into every week. I mean, as hard as that is when you know the region title's on the line, but I don't know, the guys were ready. I mean, you could tell all week they were focused during practice, because Divide's, I mean, their program's good. They're well coached. They got some good kids up there, and they get in the weight room. So if you're not ready, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, well, I know you guys have an athletic bunch. I mean, you've done a really good job this year in terms of you just haven't played a ton of close games. You know, you guys have kind of been putting it to people, and then defensively you're giving up less than 15 points per game. So, you know, what's led you guys to be able to be so efficient, you know, both offensively and defensively, but to be able to play shutout defense as well as you guys have for 8 straight games? What's kind of built up to that?
Well, I think it's just having good senior leadership. I mean, we've got a lot of guys that have played, you know, our juniors and seniors have played since they were sophomores, I mean, they've got a lot of game reps, and I think that helps. We just want our kids to go out there and play fast and aggressive and make plays, right? We have athletes, and they know what they're doing. They just got to trust themselves and go out there and have fun with it, and that's what they've done week in and week out.
Yeah. Well, obviously now you kind of solidify that getting a 1 seed to go into the playoffs and that kind of thing, but you still got one more game to play, right? So how do you turn around after such a big, big game with so many implications, and turn around and play a Dunseith team this weekend to wrap up the regular season? How do you make sure your guys are kind of grounded and get recalibrated for this one?
Well, the big thing, the message, like I said, it's just to go 1-0 every week. You just if you get caught looking too far in the future, I feel like you can run into some trouble. I mean, you just got to come ready to play, come ready to practice all week, and just let your play take care of itself. And the big thing is going into playoffs, you want to end the season on a high note, right? I mean, so this week is just as important as last week.
Well, you guys have had plenty of success. You were a playoff team, last year as well. But I mean, there's still some at stake this weekend, right? With trying to complete a perfect regular season. Does that mean anything to you as a coach? Is that something that you guys talk about? I mean, I tried to backtrack, and it looks like as far back as 1975, that hasn't happened in Alexander. So is that a conversation in the locker room or something that you kind of push these guys towards at all?
Yeah, I think just, you never know what's going to happen in the playoffs. So you try to, make your regular season mean something. I mean, 9-0, yeah, it'd be great. But I want it for the kids, not so much for myself. I mean, it'd be great for myself, but it's for them, right? I mean, they want it more than anybody else, so I'm going to let them go after it.
Yeah. Well, obviously, you said you don't ever know what's going to happen in the playoffs. And I know, especially in 9-man, where there's so much travel involved, that home playoff game could be even more pivotal. What does that mean, knowing that you get to, get the first playoff game at home and secure a couple of playoff games at home with a region title? How important is that in the long run?
Well, I think it's huge. I mean, it's always fun to play in front of your friends and family. I mean, granted, we have a pretty good fan base. I think they would travel to follow us. But, I mean, just playing at home, you're more comfortable there. You don't have a long bus ride. I feel like it's just an advantage, just no matter who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the 9-man playoff format changed a little bit this year. From a coaching standpoint, do you like the way it's looked? Can you kind of explain what the major difference is for you guys in terms of the new playoff format going into this season?
Well, so I believe, I haven't looked, I just got sent the email today, but it looks like number 1 seed gets to play the Southwest number 4, and then after that, it's seeded out 1 through 8. So if it goes the way the polls are, I'm assuming we'll probably be into the number 4 team, because we are right now, I would guess. But so that would mean, you don't know who you're going to play in that second round game. You can't look too far ahead until those rankings are out, and then you don't even know who's going to win that first round game. So it's just like our regular season mindset. You just kind of got to go 1-0 each week and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about the guys on this team who have been the big difference makers for you guys. I mean, you graduate a guy that goes and plays at Minot State, which I know isn't super common, to have 9-man guys going to play at the Division II level, and Jordan Hernandez. So the fact that you guys are replacing that talent and still having so much success, kind of tell me about those guys that have been able to fill in those gaps and what's led to this perfect season so far.
Yeah, it's a testament to them, right? Honestly, at the beginning of the year, I kind of asked them. It was pretty funny in practice after, I think it was like the first or second day. I said, "Who here thinks this is a rebuilding year?" And honestly, there was a few of them that raised their hands, and I said, "What in the world are you why?" And then first couple games come along, and we get kind of rolling, and then after that, the mindset definitely shifted, and it was the seniors that kind of took the younger guys under their wing and just said, "We're going after it." I mean, this is fun, and we don't want it to end.
Yeah. You mentioned you won't know what the playoff picture looks like in terms of who you'll play and things like that. And I know you're not trying to get too far ahead of yourself, but what have you taken away from past playoff experiences that you hope you can kind of carry into this year, whether it's something new or just something, something that you've had in your back pocket for a while or something you're building on from last year? How have those past playoff experiences kind of helped you, and helped your mindset for how you'll prepare for this season?
Well, the big thing is, we came up short. The first year we made the playoffs, we lost in overtime, and that was our first taste of the playoffs in years. Like, it had been a long time. Then last year we got our first win in the playoffs, and then got knocked out in the second round. And these kids they've got a taste of it, right? I mean, and you can't replace that. They're going into it prepared. They know what to expect. Us as coaches know what to expect. So I think it just makes it a more relaxed feel. You're not so uptight. So I think we're going to be able to go out and play free and fast, and that's the way we want to play.
How exciting is this for you guys, knowing that you've gone through that process, right, of the small building steps, going from, not making the playoffs first rounds, potentially having an undefeated regular season. How much does that mean to you guys as a staff, to these players, and to that whole community?
Well, it's pretty incredible. I mean, my dad was actually a senior in high school during the last year Alexander had football, which was like the 1989 season, I believe. And then we didn't get it back till 2015. So that was quite the drought of not having football here. And now we started in 6-man, and now we moved ourselves up into the 9-man ranks. And it's just a testament to the kids, really. I mean, they bought in, they love football. The community's got behind their back, and it's just been a blast.
Yeah. Well, Trey, we appreciate you coming on today, man. Obviously fantastic to see what you guys are doing from afar, and hope that you're able to continue it this week. A big matchup against Dunseith, and the Comet's going to be one of those top seeds going into the playoffs. So, Trey, thanks so much for joining us, man. Best of luck this week, and best of luck going into the playoffs.
We appreciate it.
All right, there you go. Trey Jacobson, the head coach for the Alexander Comets. The Comets going to be one of those top seeds as a region champion, and they have a chance to go 9-0 in the regular season, which I'm sure, like he said, there's so much pride that goes into that, and a testament to what the kids have done there. But giving up less than 15 points per game, I mean, I should have added up how many points per game they're scoring. They're scoring a pretty good bit in terms of points per game this year as well. But in 9-man, that's always so hard to gauge, right? But giving up less than 15 points per game, I think it was like 14.75 or something. That says a lot. And like we mentioned, Jordan Hernandez was a guy that played linebacker and running back for them. He went to Minot State last year after he played in the Shrine Bowl game, and got a chance to talk to him this summer ahead of the Shrine Bowl game. And, he was I don't know if he was the first player ever from Alexander to play in the Shrine Bowl game, or just the first player in a really long time. But regardless, even him, he was talking about how much pride he had in that opportunity and being able to do that. And I think it showed a lot about the attitude that the guys up there have. And for them to go and, get a home win against Divide County, 20, and not just a home win, they win by 20 points over another undefeated team. That's huge, and those teams were ranked 4 and 5 going in. I would assume, I think it's probably safe to assume that the top 4 is probably going to stay the same in 9-man this week, and Alexander is going to be the number 4 team in the state come Wednesday when the polls are released. Class AA and AAA polls will be released here in about an hour and 45 minutes, around 4 o'clock, so we'll see what those look like as well. Definitely expect some changes as there. That's going to be interesting to see what those rankings look like, and let's just dive into that. Talking about what we had in terms of a big game in the capital city on Friday night. Bismarck and Legacy Bismarck was ahead by 7 here. Bennett Lawn got a blocked field goal, and Legacy didn't take it back for a touchdown, but they got pretty good field position. Again, Legacy had some penalty trouble. Bismarck came up with an interception here that ended up being huge. This game was back and forth late. Bismarck was up by 14 at one point in the second half, and Legacy just kept chipping away and gave themselves a chance to win it at the end of the game. They had kind of a Hail Mary going into the end zone, and Bismarck was able to bat it away. Bismarck goes on to win this game by 6 points. I think it was 36-29, if I remember correctly. But Bismarck has been phenomenal. I mean, they've put themselves in a really good position. Legacy's obviously been really good the entire season, and the Demons find a way to slow them down. And quite frankly, the Demons, outrace them. And when you talk about outracing them, you got to talk about Deegan Stottinger that the Bismarck Demons have at running back, number 16. He's been phenomenal to watch. I think that might have been Stottinger there getting the ball, but he's been phenomenal to watch this season. The Demons have been fun to watch, and now they kind of have control in the WDA. It's them and Century tied at the top of the WDA, and that'll certainly be a game that's going to be huge at the end of the season between those two teams, because that'll be the final game of the regular season. Now, what happens this week is going to ultimately determine how big that game is at the end of the regular season, because Century and Legacy play this week, and right now, Century and Bismarck both 3-0 in the conference. They're both 5-2 on the season. Legacy's also 5-2 on the season, but they're 2-1 in conference play. So it'll be Century at Legacy 6:30 this Friday night. That's going to be a big one. On the same hand, Mandan and Minot going head-to-head. That'll be a pretty big game as well. Is that actually Century and Legacy's on Thursday night? Bismarck plays on Friday. This is that weird week of the season where we get a mix of Thursday and Friday games. Mandan at Minot will be on Thursday as well. And that one's big because Mandan just beat Williston at home in a crazy game. Tons of points scored in that one. And I was there for the first quarter plus a little bit. Mandan ends up winning 69-34. Just a crazy back and forth. Mandan scored on their first play from scrimmage, and then first offensive play from scrimmage, and then Williston had a kick return in the first quarter. Mandan ended up having a special teams return in the first half as well. It was just a wild back and forth. So Mandan, one win in the conference. Minot and Williston both winless in the conference, but Minot has a chance to change that at home this week as they host Mandan. But Bismarck, they're going to take on Williston this week at home, but the game that's going to be circled in AAA is going to be Century and Legacy. That one happening here on Thursday night, and if Century wins it, that's going to put them and Bismarck both in a really good position heading into a matchup against each other. They both could potentially be 4-0 going into the final week of the regular season in a crosstown battle, which is always a fun game, unpredictable game, and you never know what's going to happen there. But let's talk a little bit of college football. Big news this morning is the University of North Dakota football team into the top 10 for the first time this season. UND ranked number 9. They're coming off a win over Youngstown State. The Hawks now number 9 in the FCS Stats Perform Top 25, and this week they'll have to go on the road and play at number 12, Southern Illinois, who just lost to NDSU on Saturday. UND just putting things together, and to get a 35-17 win over Youngstown in Grand Forks, it was just a solid performance, honestly. Jerry Kaminsky, 17 for 27, 146 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, but I thought the Hawks did a really good job of finding that balance this week, and they had a really good rushing game plan going along with it. Sawyer Seidel with 116 rush yards. He didn't find the end zone, but he goes over 100 yards. And then Gavin Zybarth had 2 touchdowns on 72 yards of his own. So I thought altogether it was a good performance for UND. Youngstown had a chance to get back into that game late. UND able to hold them off, obviously, in the win, but still puts them in a good position where they get a little test there at the end of the game, get a chance to see, test your defense and figure out, how good you guys can be in a tough situation, even trying to protect the lead. And then now they have to go on the road and play a good Southern Illinois team who's obviously going to be hurt a little bit, and they're going to be looking for, a little bounce back opportunity. Southern Illinois going on the road this weekend to the Fargo Dome, they lose 45-17. It was a top 8 ranked battle coming in, but NDSU just, again, kind of doing whatever they want to at will. 540 yards of total offense, and I mean, it's like a broken record at this point, but Cole Payton, he's phenomenal. And the thing is he hasn't really had to play 4 quarters of football all season. So, what's it going to look like? Imagine what his stats would look like if he was playing a full 4 quarters of football every single week. But he went 13 for 16, so he only had 3 incompletions, 243 yards. He only had 1 passing touchdown, but he had 60 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. One of those rushing touchdowns was a long one on the ground, but even more impressive was the fact that NDSU had 3 forced turnovers. 2 of them were fumbles. 1 of them was an interception. One of those fumbles was recovered by Jackson Dutenheffer, the Mandan man, who we obviously like to talk about frequently here as one of our own. But Tim Polasek said afterwards, we challenged these guys on defense to go out and force some turnovers, and that's a good way to change the game. And certainly the Bison did just that, creating opportunities for their offense through their defensive play. And so you hope, for NDSU fans, you hope that the defense can continue to do that and continue to force turnovers as NDSU moves forward. So NDSU now a perfect 6-0 on the season. And where do you turn next? Well, you got to go on the road this weekend and play at Indiana State. And then on the other side of that one is the big one, a big game in Brookings waiting on the other side on October 25th. And it was just announced this morning that game will be on ESPN2 or ESPNU at 7 o'clock. So the network will be determined later in the week. But it'll be a 7 o'clock kick in Brookings between North Dakota State and South Dakota State. So that's going to be huge. A night game in Brookings between those two teams. That's going to be a phenomenal environment. And I'm a lot of people are already talking about it and that kind of thing. And, I'm sure some people have seen this already. But I think there's a good possibility that, that might be a game that College Game Day tries to dip their toes into and tries to cover a little bit. I wouldn't completely shock me if Game Day decides to go there that weekend. I think LSU and Texas A&M is maybe the biggest college football game that weekend. There's not a ton of huge games that weekend, and I think it would set up in a pretty good position for a game like that to be headlined. You look at it now, Ole Miss and Oklahoma are that weekend, but Game Day is going to be covering Ole Miss this coming weekend. The next biggest one is Texas A&M at LSU. Yeah, and then Missouri at Vanderbilt. Both of those teams have been featured on Game Day in the past 2 weeks. So it's going to be a primetime game for NDSU and South Dakota State. Wouldn't be surprised to see Game Day try to get their hands on that one and hopefully put a big spotlight on the FCS and some really good FCS football. We got 2 more guests coming up on today's show. Kurtis Walls, a little bit more 9-man football talk. Kurtis Walls, the Linton HMB head football coach. Linton HMB getting a huge win over Kidder County this past weekend. And they get the win to win the Region 4 championship. So they'll be the number 1 seed coming out of their region for the 2nd season in a row, which you can't overstate how big that is for the Lions. And now it's just a matter of putting it together and seeing how deep they can make a run into the playoffs. They've dealt with some injuries and things like that this season. And they've had to bounce back from a ton of things. Levi Keeney, one of their star athletes, getting hurt early in the season. I think that was in that Grant County Flasher game. So that was about halfway through that he got hurt. And they've been dealing with some other things. So They got tested on Friday night. Kidder County, I think Linton was leading 12-0 at halftime, and Linton ended up winning that game 36-14 over Kidder County in Linton. So they get their last home game of the regular season this weekend against Richardson Taylor Hebron. Not a ton of playoff implications in Region 4 coming into this weekend because most of their stuff is kind of situated for the playoffs in terms of who's in and who's out. I think maybe there's some seeding stuff to be figured out in Region 4 this weekend. Yeah, some region stuff, seeding stuff to be figured out between those next three teams: Grant County Flasher, Kidder County, and Napoleon, all with a 6-2 record in Region 4, all with a 6-2 record overall on the season. So those things will get sorted out, and those will be the four teams representing Region 4 in the 9-man football playoffs, which start not this coming Saturday, next Saturday, the same time frame that the Class A playoffs will start as well. So we'll have Kurtis Walls on here in just a minute. We had his wife, Katie Walls, on a couple of weeks ago to talk about the Linton volleyball team. Then after that, we're going to wrap up the show with Ruby Ihmels from Century Cross Country, just a phenomenal athlete. She's only a junior in high school, and she is one of the top runners. She is the top runner in North Dakota. There's no mistaking that. She's one of the top runners in the country, and she's getting some credit for it, deservedly so. Excited to get a chance to talk with her about that. She has a cool story. Her and her brother Will moved here from Idaho with her dad, with her family, and they dominated the cross country and track scene last year. She set a record in the 3,200 last year in May at the state track meet, and she'll certainly be the favorite for the state cross country meet. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday, happening in Jamestown. It'll be Saturday for Class A teams. It'll be a Friday race for Class B teams in Jamestown. Something else to talk about coming up this week, right here in our backyard, is going to be the state soccer tournament. That'll be huge over at Mandan High School. I'm excited to have the state soccer tournament on our side of the state this year. I just really enjoy covering these soccer teams, and really have enjoyed covering this legacy program that's been at the top of its game, and Tom Marcis has certainly taken it to the highest level that it can go, and the Sabres have a chance to repeat as state champions this year with a relatively still young program. I mean, they've been in existence just over a decade, around a decade, so it's not like they've been around for a ton of time, but they've got so many athletic guys, and Tom Marcis has done a good job of getting guys to buy into that program. Legacy, the defending state champions, will be the number 1 seed. They'll take on, they'll be the number 1 seed. Minot will be the number 2 seed out of the West. Things got interesting there late in the regular season in the WDA in terms of playing for seeding. Century will be the 3 seed out of the West. They won their last, they won a big game over Bismarck that ultimately put them in a position to get that 3 seed, and then they finished off the regular season against Dickinson with a win, but they won 4 straight games to close out the regular season. So Century has found its footing. They're off and rolling, and then Jamestown came down to the very last day of the regular season. Kind of weird. Jamestown and Minot North were the only teams playing on Saturday. Everybody else finished their season on Thursday, and Jamestown won that game 1-0 at home over Minot North. So the Blue Jays get the playoff spot over Minot North to get that 4 seed. They'll get the chance to take on top-seeded Fargo South out of the East. Legacy is going to take on Red River in the first game of the day. Red River, obviously, the 4 seed. Century will take on Cheyenne. Cheyenne's the only team. Cheyenne's a pretty good team, even as you would think the 2 seed and that kind of thing, but they're the only team that's beaten Legacy this year. 4-2 win early in the season, so that would be an interesting semifinal match, rematch if Legacy and Cheyenne both get there. Then it will be Fargo South against Jamestown in the 4:30 game on Thursday, and then we wrap up the day with Minot and Shanley in the final quarterfinal game of the day. That'll be a 6:45 roughly in Mandan at Starion Sports Complex. So some fun storylines going on there. It'll be interesting to see if Legacy can make a run at it again. But we're going to shift back to high school football and talk about the Linton HMB Lions, a team that we've certainly talked about a good bit here, but I think they deservedly, are in a position where we should be talking about them as much as possible. They're perfect on the season, 8-0, and now they're the Region 4 champions. Head coach Kurtis Wall is going to join us here any second. We're going to get Kurtis here on Zoom. Linton winning on Friday night over Kidder County in Linton, and that game was ultimately to decide who won the region championship. As Kurtis Wall, the head coach of the Lions, joins us now. And Kurtis, I know you were excited about that one going into Friday night, but after you get a game like that done, is it a little bit of a sigh of relief and a breath of fresh air knowing that you've at least got it behind you now?
Absolutely. Anytime you win a game like that, you have to be happy and you have to be content with it. Now, over the weekend, there's a chance just to breathe. Like you said, take a second and regroup and kind of just get ready for that last game of the regular season. It's always nice going into that last one knowing that you kind of clinched one of your goals and you got to where you want to get to. But now it's just back to work. Can't get complacent with it. So excited, but still hungry.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Kidder County a little bit, because obviously they're a team that has completely reversed where they were a season ago, and they've got a ton of athletic kids. And I know you said coming into it, we know that this is going to be a dogfight kind of thing. And what was it, 12-0 at halftime? I mean, they were hanging in there with you guys. What can you say about your guys and what you were able to do to kind of put your foot on the gas there in the second half and put things away?
Yeah, and first and foremost, just hats off to a very, very, very good Kidder County team. They came out ready to play, and I think anytime that Linton and a Kidder County team face off, I think everybody knows that it's going to be a good matchup. So it was one that we knew we had to be ready for. It was kind of what I expected at halftime with the score 12-0. I expected it something, a 1-2 score game depending on either side. I knew it was going to be close. I was happy to see the execution that my boys could come out with in the second half to kind of put a little bit of distance between us and them. Kidder County is a tough team, and anytime they're within a touchdown or 2 touchdowns, it can go either way. So we knew we had to kind of get up by 3 scores to kind of put the game where we wanted to put it.
Well, you obviously mentioned reaching one of your goals. I mean, to reach a goal like winning the region championship, before you even get to the last week of the regular season, what does that mean? And what does it mean knowing that you put yourself in a position to, have another undefeated regular season, which I know is not something that's easy to chase?
Oh, absolutely. It's a testament to the kids and the work that they've put in and to the whole coaching staff, from all the way from the elementary program on up. It takes so many people to make something like that happen. A lot of times people see the work that we put in on Friday nights, but they don't think about the summer camps that we went to. They don't think about the parents putting in the time and picking up their kids or dropping their kids off at the weight room at 5:45 in the morning every day over the summertime, to make these things happen. So it's a testament to our community that we have that helps make these kinds of things happen. So I'm just so proud of the boys and what they've been able to do and the adversity that they've been able to fight over and overcome. To be able to accomplish something like that, it's a blessing. Sometimes we overlook it just a lot because there's always one region champ every year, but there's kids that perform there for their whole lives and train for years on end and never get to feel what that feels like. So I'm proud of the boys and want to make sure that they don't let the feeling of winning becoming numb. Because it can't become numb. You have to enjoy it. You have to get to live in that moment. So I'm really happy for the boys.
Well, you guys have experienced a ton of winning. I mean, to have an undefeated regular season last year and have a chance to do that again this year, I know that's no small accomplishment. I know the community is proud of that, but this year I know hasn't been easy either. I mean, I know you have tons of talent, but you guys have had, some setbacks with injuries and things like that. I mean, how have you guys been able to kind of weather the storm in that way, losing, the Keeney kid early in the season? I know that was a big one for you. And then you've mentioned having a couple other guys that have had to step up. So how have you had guys step up and just perform for you when maybe you weren't really expecting them to at the beginning of the season?
We've had more season-ending injuries than I'd like to even admit, to be honest. It's been something, but it's a testament to our leadership that we have with our older boys. When they've gone injured, they're at practice every day. They're getting the younger guys ready to step into their place and to fill that time until either they come back or just like my season's over, and so I have to make sure that this kid is ready for the foundation of the program that we have here. So it's really awesome to see. I mean. You come to practice and we might have 36 kids on the football team, but right now we have a good about 9 on the IR list, and they're on the side and they all have whistles in their mouth, and they're helping us coach, and they're just as a part of the team as they were before. So we tell them, you might be injured, but you're still a Lion at heart. So get out to practice. You got to help us. So it's been awesome watching these younger guys kind of fill in those spots. It's really helped just to show where we are at for the future. And going into the season, I would have said that we're an older team. I think with some of the injuries that we've had, and we've had some younger guys playing, I'd say right now, I think we only have about 3 seniors that are actually playing at the moment. So we kind of converted back to being a younger team and getting some of those younger guys some experience. But I'm just proud of the way that they fought, and they're kind of facing that adversity. It could have went downhill. First game of the season, Jake Hayes was an all-region player last year. He gets injured with the season-ending injury. Brody Richter's a great player for us. Same thing kind of happens. Levi Keeney, same thing happens. Things could have went downhill, and that's a testament to the boys and what they believe in, and kind of that foundation that they have set for what they want. They have goals, and they're destined to accomplish them, and they're not going to be told no. So it's been awesome to see.
Yeah. Well, obviously you guys get to sit back, and you don't get to sit back. You got to play another game, but you know that you've secured your spot and what your spot looks like. How much will you pay attention to the rest of the region this week, knowing that those 2, 3, and 4 spots, they're all going into the weekend with the same record and that kind of thing? How much will you pay attention to that?
Oh, you pay attention to it a little bit. You never know who you might end up playing later on in the season, so I'll definitely still download that huddle film just to have it, just in case we have to play one of these teams later on. It's a tough region that we do play in, so we know if we do have to play one of the teams that we've already played, and it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a matchup. It's never easy to beat a team twice. So we're just getting prepared for any and all those things and just whatever might happen. So we'll still pay it a little bit of attention.
Yeah. Obviously the playoff format changing has been a discussion around here. What's been your mentality on the playoff change? What are your thoughts on it? And, what do you expect going into this season with things looking, or this postseason with things looking a little bit differently?
The playoff format has been changing quite a bit. I think as just all of us coaches would like it to just kind of just become a little consistent, But at the end of the day, I'm just happy to be able to have the chance to be able to play in the playoffs. So I tell the boys, no matter the format, whether we have a bye, we don't have a bye, let's just go out there and play ball. When you make the playoffs, you're on borrowed time. It's not guaranteed time. So to me, if we're there, we get a chance to play. That's all that matters to me. And I tell the kids that's all we can focus on. So, once it ever comes out of whoever we're playing that week 1, it's just let's go 1-0 for the week, and we control what we can control and take it from there.
Yeah. How do you get your guys to kind of recalibrate for this week's game, knowing that, you had such a high of a game last week, and knowing that you still got one more to kind of put things away? Will you, talk about the fact that there's an undefeated season at stake? Do you even need to mention it in the locker room? How do you guys make sure these guys are focused going into Friday night?
I don't think I really need to mention it. I wouldn't doubt it if later on as the week goes along, if I will, just to be honest, because you tell the kids all the time, the goal going into the season, everybody wants to win the region championship. Like that's always goal number 1. So, that one's checked off. We're happy about that. But tell the guys, a pretty cool goal number 2 would be going undefeated regular season. So let's go ahead and knock that one off the board and see if we can do that back-to-back years and kind of see it's a test to us to see where we're at. If we can, I think for some of our seniors, I think they've mentioned it maybe more times than I would like them to have over the past few days. But that's also just high school kids. So, I'm sure I don't have to say anything. I'm sure they know as the week kind of gets closer to Richardson Taylor on Friday, I think the kids will get a little bit more amped up and kind of lock back into that zone a little bit. And, tomorrow, once we have our full first practice, I do expect that intensity to kind of be there just like it was last week. Every game we got to go 1-0. It doesn't matter who we're playing. So we got to go.
Yeah. What obviously you mentioned the injuries and how that's changed so much for your roster this year and that kind of thing. But what else is there that's different about this year's team compared to last year that, you guys have had to reset on and re-prepare for, whereas it's not necessarily just a copy and paste. Hey, we had an undefeated regular season last year. We can do that again. What's been different about this year's group?
I think a little bit of everything, to be honest. Just a whole new quarterback, so we've had a whole new system. I think our leadership is different. Last year, we lost 2 All-State kids that graduated, and so a big question mark coming into this year was our leadership of where do we stand? Who's going to step up and kind of help us out, and when things get tough. And I think you have that question mark anytime after you graduate a couple kids like that, and I think we answered that call probably better than I've ever expected. I think this year, one of the things that does separate us is it's not just seniors this year that are our leaders. You kind of see it from top to bottom. We even have some freshman guys that have been stepping up that have had to play for us a little bit. So they're kind of stepping up and being leaders in ways that we haven't actually seen over the past couple of years with freshmen being leaders. So it's a little stuff like that. And I think just handling adversity and just kind of like, this wasn't our game plan going into this game, but because of X, Y, and Z, we have to make this adjustment, and we just have to go on the fly. I think the way that our kids are, adjusting to things just out of nowhere, things that we maybe didn't prepare for. It's been awesome to see. So the adjustments that the kids are making themselves.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get you out of here on this. We got a couple of rapid fire questions for you, and we did this with Katie a couple weeks ago. So you're a relatively new dad, right? Are we coming up on a year? December?
Yeah, about a little over 9 months right now.
Okay, so you guys are like a month and a half ahead of us, something like that. Okay, rapid fire questions. First thing that comes to mind: who's changing more diapers in a day, you or Katie?
Me.
Okay, then.
I don't know how she's gonna feel when she sees that, but I'm gonna say myself.
Do you get more joy out of winning a football game or seeing Katie win a volleyball game?
Ooh. I'm going to have to go with myself in that one. I'm going to go with me winning a football game. Yep.
Best singular moment from this season. I was remembering this morning, you guys had a kid try to hurdle somebody that we got on camera. I have to assume that's top 5. What's the best moment that stands out from the season?
That was a good one. I want to say probably, I can't remember what game 4, game 5, we're at Napoleon. We're probably up 16-12. And in the third quarter, we go on I believe it was a 40-point quarter, and we scored 40 points in one quarter. That was probably one of the just greatest experiences that I've just seen of just kids just being resilient and just fighting, and all of a sudden just changing the whole aspect of a game quicker than I ever thought could be changed. So that was a memory I don't think that I'll ever forget, to be honest.
Yeah. You guys are kind of an entire Valley City family. How many games does Valley City win this year in football? They've won 4 of their last 5. So they're getting hot.
I'd like to say I'm seeing at least 8. That's what I'd like to say. It's they got the strength of the schedule coming up, but I'm going for 8 wins. So hopefully Coach Mack can help me prove me right with that one.
All right, we'll see. Well, Kurtis, man, we appreciate it. Always good to catch up with you. Linton H&B, the region champs, they get Richards and Taylor this week, and then they'll head into the playoffs. Kurtis, thanks so much for joining us, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All right, that was Kurtis Walls, the Linton H&B head football coach. Like we said, the Lions, the region champions, and they're going to be a team to compete in the playoffs here. They're obviously dealing with a lot of injuries, so we'll see how that impacts things in the grand scheme as they get deeper into the playoffs. Obviously, that always makes things more difficult with not having the depth and that kind of thing. But we're going to go ahead and jump in with our next guest as I try to get things booted up here. Ruby Ihmels won the WDA Cross Country Championship this past weekend by nearly a minute up in Williston. And, that's just the latest in the trophy case for her. Century is a team taking 5 of the top 7 spots in the WDA. They won the team championship, and Ruby was obviously a big part of that, bringing home first place. And ever since we mentioned Ruby and her brother moved from Idaho to here, they have taken over the running scene in North Dakota. And so long overdue to visit with her. And her brother now at Colorado running as well, which is a pretty cool thing to see him running at the next level, and obviously at such a big stage in the in the Power 4 as well, Power 5, whatever people are calling it these days. But Ruby won the WDA championship. I didn't write down her time. I should have, but she won by nearly a minute, and has had a busy recent schedule, running kind of all over the country, really, in different places. We're going to give her a minute to get set up here, but she ran at the Foot Locker Nationals this past year. She recently ran in Spain at the World Mountain and Trail Running Championships, which is something that I think is insanely cool. I mean, we're talking about somebody coming out of the state of North Dakota and representing North Dakota and representing the U.S. across the country, and so the ceiling certainly is only going to continue to get higher for her as things continue to progress, and she inches closer to senior year and all those kinds of things. So hard to imagine that all of these things have happened before even getting to a senior year. And we're talking about her being, one of the best runners that has probably ever come through North Dakota. So we're going to get things started here. Ruby, thanks for coming on with us. I'm trying to get your thing set up here. Obviously a fun weekend for you. I'm sure it's always a fun weekend coming away with a win. For you as being, I'll say, the top runner in the state, how do you approach a weekend like the WDA championship, kind of knowing where you're at in the season? How do you prepare for that? And then how do you turn around and prepare for states, just knowing how much you've won the WDA by?
Yeah, I think that my main focus for WDA was just trying to get my team excited. I think we've been doing really good this season and we have a lot of potential. We have a really young team. So I think, training wise, we're just trying to keep doing the same thing and get ready for state. And yeah, I was just really excited to race WDA. I really like the Williston course. And so, yeah, I mean, I was just super proud of my team and it was a great weekend.
How much of your running right now is kind of setting standards for yourself and trying to beat that, as opposed to, I mean, I'm sure that's kind of what it is all the time, right? But how much more important is that for you right now as you try to push yourself further and further? I mean, do you come in the season with hey, I've got a goal of by the end of the season, I want to get to this mark, or how do you kind of set those standards for yourself?
Yeah, I think I have a lot of goals just defined by championship season. So, I mean, that section of the year has started, which is kind of crazy. I feel like we were just starting cross country, but I mean, it's super exciting. We've got state in 2 weeks, and then, I'm hoping to go do some regional meets and then hopefully some national meets again. So I think just working towards the goal I set, I mean, even at the start of the year, but even at the end of cross country last year, looking to the next year, I think it's just, I'm excited to try and work towards those goals. And yeah, I mean, championship season is here. It's upon us.
Well, I'm obviously you'll get a chance to run in Jamestown again for the state cross country meet, a course that you're familiar with and had success at. But I was just kind of reading up on some things, and I wanted to ask you about the going to run in Spain. Can you tell us kind of how that came about, what that experience was like, and also just how is that different from, your normal, what you're doing running cross country in North Dakota?
Yeah, I was super grateful to have made that team and got the opportunity to, go to Spain with the rest of those girls and race in a trail championship. It's something I've never really got to do before. So I was super excited to make that happen, and it was definitely a great experience, and I've never really been on the trails, so I was super excited to try out that longer race in a different place. And yeah, I mean, just to go to Spain was a super cool experience.
Yeah. Well, when you're doing things like that and you're running at such a high level, you're going to Foot Locker Nationals, an event like that in Spain and representing the U.S., do you ever have to remind yourself to take some pride in, the WDA championship and things like that, even though they may seem like they're on a smaller scale? How much pride do you still take in the fact that you've, have still accomplished something by winning, the WDA and having a chance to win another state title?
I mean, I definitely think that it's just different goals, like I definitely still take pride in winning WDA, and I'm really excited about state. I think, going for a state title is a really big deal too. So yeah, I mean, I just think it's like different environments, but I'm super excited for the rest of the North Dakota season. And I mean, as much as I love going different places to run and having those experiences, I think the community here is super great, and there's a lot of just like a lot of people who are excited about cross country. So I definitely think that makes running here super fun and just a great experience.
Yeah, well, I wanted to ask you. I mean, obviously, you guys moving from Idaho to North Dakota, and kind of, for you being in high school and getting put in a new environment, what was that like adapting to a new environment for you and your brother? I mean, going in the middle of high school and changing schools and that kind of thing. But what was it like in terms of going into a new environment from a running community standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was pretty good for us. I mean, like I was saying before, the community here is super great. Our teams really welcomed us. And I think, especially for Will's senior year, I think it was really great for a lot of the younger kids on his team last year to like have him as a role model. And so I think he really jumped into that and, did a great job leading the team. And then, I mean, for me, I also think that the team welcomed me and the community welcomed me. And I mean, it was a great year last year here in cross country and in track. And I mean, I loved it. I think it was a good transition. And yeah, the community really helped that.
Obviously, your dad has got tons of experience in terms of running and that kind of thing, and coaching at a high level. How much do you guys depend on that, and how much is he, your coach as much as he is dad? How much are you? I'm assuming the running conversation is constant in your house.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's super great. He definitely always like, if didn't have a great race or I'm not really happy with it, he always tells me, what I need to hear. Maybe not what I want to hear, but definitely what I need to hear in the moment. So I think it's super great to, have someone. Both my parents ran in high school, they ran in college, and so I think it's great to have them as like role models and people who can just help me and my brother if we need advice. Yeah, it's super great, and I mean, I'm like starting the recruiting like process for college, so it's great to have his advice too with that. So yeah.
Okay, I'm going to get to that in a second, but I think I saw, did both of your parents win a WDA championship? Or win a region championship?
Yeah, I know. My mom was a 3-time state champion in Ohio, and then my
Right.
dad, I think, won 3 WDA titles. I'm not exactly sure. I
Okay.
don't think he won. Yeah, I think he won 3.
Okay, so he's won 3, Will won 1, and now you've won 2?
Yeah.
That's a lot of trophies going in the Ihmels household, that's for sure. Okay, yeah, I wanted to ask you about the recruiting process, because obviously from sport to sport, recruiting is so different, right? What does that look like from a running standpoint? How does recruiting work? I mean, I assume that these big events like Foot Locker Nationals and those kind of things are helping you out a lot more than, just a state cross-country meet in North Dakota. So how important are those events, and what has the recruiting process been like for you so far?
Yeah, I mean, so in running, that the recruiting process kind of starts after your sophomore year when you're going into your junior year. So for me, I've kind of been talking to some coaches, over the summer and just into the fall. And I think that a lot of coaches are probably, I mean, obviously I don't know specifically, but I think a lot of coaches are looking, they each have different things they prioritize when they're looking for an athlete to recruit. But I mean, I feel like consistency is probably pretty important, as you see them, improving throughout their high school career. So, I mean, obviously doing good on a national level is going to help you, but I think being consistent throughout the season is something that a lot of coaches will probably like to see. And so, yeah, I mean, I've just been talking to a few coaches. I think a lot of girls in the running scene recently, the last couple of years, have been committing junior year, but I definitely am not someone who wants to rush that decision. So I probably won't be committing for like a while till senior year, but it's nice to start that process and just see what, different college coaches are like.
Yeah, and you mentioned your dad helping you through that as somebody who's been on the other side of the recruiting process, and then obviously having your brother go through it. I mean, how helpful has that been, just having conversations with those two and having, those two there to support you?
Yeah, I definitely think it's really helpful, especially for Will, since he, went through the process last year. And was able to make his decision, and now he's at University of Colorado. And so I think it's super great to see. Like, I definitely think no one he's like, they're kind of like, just like, don't rush, make sure you prioritize your decision and do the right thing. So I think it's helpful to see, both their experiences with it, but like in the end, they're just like, you're going to know the place you want to go.
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool to have those guys there in your quarter, I'm sure. But as you get ready for the state cross country meet, obviously the goal is to defend a state championship. But do you go into that meet with a goal of like, hey, I want to reach this time, or what is your mindset going into state?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think obviously the main thing is trying to defend my title. So I think that's my number one priority. But then I think my team has a chance of winning the state title. So definitely, supporting my teammate, getting us ready, getting us hyped up for it, I think is also a really big priority, just because I think we have a lot of potential. And then, I mean, time-wise, I mean, it'd be great to, run faster than I did on that course last year. But I think with me, cross country, like, it's great to run fast, but also, you never know what the course is. Well, I know what the course is going to be like. I love that course. But you never know what the weather's going to be like, or like, just the different scenarios. So I definitely think, try and just go out there and run hard. But, you never really know what the time's going to be in cross.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get you out of here on this. We've got a couple of rapid fire questions, just kind of quick shooters off the hip. So first thing that comes to mind, how many miles would you guess that you've run this year, like since January?
Oh, a lot, probably. I don't even know a number, but yeah, definitely a lot. I think my training's more higher mileage focused, so yeah, a lot of miles probably clocked in.
Yeah. What's your favorite race that you've competed in this year?
Okay, my favorite race this year, I mean, Spain was really cool, and I don't know. Yeah, probably Spain I'd have to go with, honestly.
What's been your favorite part about you guys moving back to North Dakota? What have you enjoyed the most about it?
I really like being near my family. It's really fun to go to school with my cousins. I think I've gotten a lot closer with them, and yeah, I think it's great.
And the last thing, just the biggest goal personally for you this school year.
I mean, I feel like I have a lot of specific goals, but I just want to like keep improving and finish my junior year being proud of the improvements I've made since sophomore year.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's awesome. Ruby, we appreciate you joining us. Congrats on the WDA title. Best of luck next week at the state meet. We'll be watching, obviously, and excited to see what's to come in the near future. So thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, Ruby Ihmels, the WDA Cross Country Championship. She'll run for to defend her state title, not this coming Saturday, but next Saturday, that meet in Jamestown. Once again, Jamestown, obviously a pretty good setup, and as she said, she loves that course. I think a lot of runners do as well. Bowman County won both boys and girls West Region Class B championships this past weekend. Bismarck boys won the WDA Boys Championship. Owen Hentz was the individual who won there. Jonah Nace won the Boys Class B West Region, and Summer Olson from Killdeer won the Girls Class B West Region. So excited to see all those athletes, not this Saturday, but next Saturday. Ruby Ihmels with a bright future ahead of her. Can't wait to see what's ahead. Certainly will be in the conversation for, a Division I top college as well. DieStat currently has her ranked top 5 in the country among all high school runners. That's exciting. We mentioned that Spain World Mountain and Trial Running Championship. She finished 25th in that. She was about 5 minutes out of first. So it's not like she just went and, was middle of the pack. She still competed at a really high level, which I think is impressive and says a lot about what she's doing and where she's at. But it's been a fun day here on the Dakota Drive. Excited to have so many cool guests, talk a lot of football, and they get a chance to talk to Ruby, who's obviously a phenomenal athlete in our area. A lot at stake this weekend as we enter another important stretch. The last weekend of the regular season for Class A and 9-man football teams. You got the state soccer tournament, Class AA and AAA football teams kind of rounding down the regular season for themselves as well. But we appreciate you joining us on another Monday here on the Dakota Drive. we'll be right back here next Monday, 2 to 3 p.m. Central on the Dakota Drive for another edition. And be sure to tune in tonight at 6 and 10 and throughout the week. Just a small plug, Wednesday at 6. Got a really exciting story that we're going to share about a Mandan football player that I think will be really good, and we'll have a lot of folks really inspired and excited. So be sure to tune in to see that on First News at 6 on Wednesday night. Until next week, we'll see you later. Have a great week and a great rest of your Monday afternoon.